voy a hacer más rápido que Charles, ¿no? Como diciendo, déjeme pasar.
Environmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services to order. Thank you very much. So, distinguished delegates, colleagues, and guests, I am honored today, this afternoon, to cordially welcome Ms. Steffi Lemke, Federal Minister for the Environment, Nature Conservation, Nuclear Safety, and Consumer Protection of Germany, and the Deputy Mayor of the City of Bonn, Dr. Ursula Sauter, to this second part of the opening ceremony of IPBES 9 and invite them to address the plenary. And it is my pleasure then to give the floor to the Minister Lemke to address your words. Please, Minister.
Dr. Anna-Maria Salgar, Dr. Anne Lagardodier, dear Inga Anderson, Dr. Ursula Sauter, and IPBES experts, ladies and gentlemen. It has been 5 years since the last IPBES plenary session was held in Bonn. Welcome back here in Bonn. The virtual plenary last year showed that international bodies can carry out their work without being present at one place. Nevertheless, we have all realized that virtual formats cannot fully replace face-to-face interaction. That is why I'm delighted to extend a very warm welcome to you here in Bonn on behalf of the entire German government. The world has changed since the 7th plenary session in Paris in 2019. We are living in a time of crisis. Peaceful cooperation is invaluable, particularly in times like these. I would like for this meeting to send a message against hostility and aggression and in support of multilateralism and the strength of international law. This is also necessary because the major global environmental crises are getting worse. The climate crisis, environmental pollution, and biodiversity loss. These crises still need our full attention. Species extinction, the biodiversity crisis, has still not fully entered public and political awareness. This urgently has to change. It is of utmost importance to see the twin crises on biodiversity loss and climate change as two sides of the same coin. No crisis can be solved without targeting the other crisis, being for the nature conservation. Being the Minister for Nature Conservation, I have set up a program for nature-based climate action with a volume of €4 billion. The aim is to leverage the synergy of protecting biodiversity as well as enhancing CO2 storage. The Global IPBES Assessment Report has already taken us a big step forward. The report not only makes clear the extent of biodiversity loss, it also presents recommendations for action on how to navigate our way of the crisis, out of the crisis. These recommendations are very useful. They can help us develop new global guidelines for action to protect species and ecosystems and support the sustainable use of nature. It is very good news that CBD COP15 will finally take place in December in Montreal. I am confident that this will enable us to adopt an ambitious global agreement at the end of the year. it remains crucial that this agreement is based on scientific findings and actually benefits biodiversity. IPBES and its experts make an extremely important contribution here. After all, the recommendation for a decision at CBD COP15 plans that the IPBES work program will support the implementation of the new framework. The coronavirus pandemic has shown us how much we depend on science-based policy advice. IPBES has proven that it can also respond quickly to short-term political needs. The report from the IPBES workshop on biodiversity and pandemics stresses clearly that protecting global biodiversity is also vital for human health. To give an example here of how my ministry is building on the work of IPBES. In March, together with UNEP and CBD, we launched the Nature for Health initiative in the form of a multi-partner trust fund. The fund will support the shift away from nature destruction towards restoration of nature. This will be flanked by measures ranging from sustainable agriculture to early warning systems. With the fund, we want to bring the prevention of future pandemics to the fore by improving the health of people, animals, plants, and ecosystems. To help with the practical implementation, the German government will provide 50 million euros in seed capital from the International Climate Initiative. We are currently in the preparatory phase. The operative phase will be launched at COP15. Delegates, over the next few days, you will discuss and adopt 2 new assessments and present policymakers with recommendation for action. I am already looking forward to the planned IPBES assessment of the correlation between business and biodiversity. Once again, IPBES is taking on a pioneering role by involving private sectors, stakeholders, in compiling the assessment. I am delighted that with the launch of the Business and Biodiversity Assessment, our government will start supporting fellows nominated by Germany. This allows us to do our bit to also involve the next generation in international cooperation on biodiversity. I am excited about the impetus that upcoming assessments will provide at national and international level. I wish you all every success in the negotiations over the next few days. Together, let's send a message for peaceful coexistence and for multilateralism. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Lemke, for your welcome address. And also, I take this opportunity on behalf of all the plenary to thank the government of Germany for their support to IPBES and in particular the organization of this 9th session of the plenary. And with that, I now want to give the floor to the Deputy Mayor of the City of Bonn, Dr. Ursula Sauter, to also address the plenary.
Madam Chair Hernández Salgar, Executive Secretary Laurie Godery, Minister Lemke, 9th plenary, IPBES plenary participants, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bonn after a long pandemic break. Mayor Katja Dörner is unfortunately not able to be here today and sends her warmest regards to the IPPES community and every single one of you. Let me say that it is such a pleasure to be part of the plenary 2022, to see faces, albeit with masks, alight with inspiration after a first conference day full of discussing mutual research, taking in new ideas, sharing visions, meeting friends and acquaintances, and getting to know new members of the biodiversity research community. We are, Minister Lemke has said it, at a pivotal moment in time, hoping for the next conference of the parties of biodiversity to adopt the post-2020 framework, hopefully also a new action plan for cities and regions. As much as the climate emergency matters, we experience every single day how deeply climate, land, water, air, and the richness of life and habitats are connected. All species loss, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, from animal to plant to fungi to algae, is a loss to our common future. I therefore commend IPPES for 2 new exciting reports to be launched this week, focusing on the very many different values of nature and its sustainable use. Biodiversity is much more than zoology and botanics. Biodiversity is also centrally about our economies, societies, health, and well-being. Biodiversity also has deep spiritual and ethical aspects that take in community, justice, and that cannot be stressed enough, and quality of life. At the local level, we are only too aware of biodiversity's manifold qualities and values, and we understand the importance of its responsible, holistic, interdisciplinary consideration in building a shared future for all life, the theme of this year's Biodiversity Day. In Bonn, the interdisciplinary biodiversity network BION is connecting the dots. And I'm very glad that the global research community is now stepping up this wider perspective of biodiversity. Your evidence-based findings and conclusions will inspire local action everywhere around the world. In Bonn, where we are currently working on our next biodiversity strategy as well, and of course, wherever you come from, that is from all over the globe. Biodiversity is more than nature, and even the term nature-based solutions has to be understood in a different, more inclusive way. We are on the edge of a new age. Organizations like IPPES are showing us the way to a better understanding and towards responsible action. And action is what we need. Not only in Bonn, but many other cities and regions have we embarked on this path. I would like to close by expressing my thanks to Dr. Anne Larigauderie and her dedicated team. I'm sure you're all over the place here, but I can't see you, so thank you. And to all of you for your in-depth, diligent research, for sharing your insights here and with the world, for giving us the facts we need to make better informed decisions. Looking at the UN campus on the Rhine, which I'm sure you've had opportunity to visit or will have the opportunity to visit because it's just down the road, home to IPPES and other UN entities, 25 in all, and we're hoping that is going to grow, geared towards sustainability. I set my hopes on multilateralism and action on our SDGs. Science is providing us with evidence and pointing us in the right direction. It is now our turn as leaders from local to regional to global to get the navigation and the action right. Together with the Federal Minister for the Environment, Nature Protection, Nuclear Safety and Consumer Protection, Ms. Minister Lemke, I have the pleasure to invite you to join us after these speeches, which is why I'm going to end very soon, for drinks, snacks, and inspiring conversations outside. And should you find the time, which I sincerely hope, during what might be your first in-person visit to this place, to this conference, I also invite you to explore our very beautiful city of Bonn. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sauter, for your warm welcome to this beautiful city of Bonn. As I told you before, we feel like this is our second home, and it's fantastic to return to Bonn. Thank you very much. And now it is my pleasure to give the floor to the Executive Secretary of IPBES, Anne-Laure Goddery, to thank the speakers.
Minister Lemke, Deputy Director Dr. Sauter. I will be very brief. I have spoken a lot already today to this plenary, but really we would really like to thank you so much for your presence here today on the opening day of our 9th plenary of IPBES. Your presence truly honors us, so thank you very much for taking the time to come and to visit us. And I would really like to repeat what I said earlier this morning when we opened here the plenary, that IPBES could not dream of having a better host country than Germany, and as a matter of fact, a better host city than Bonn. And we are very, very grateful for that. I know, Minister, that you often refer to the work of IPBES. You just did, in fact, and that our work is really inspiring new thinking, new measures at the federal level, at the regional level, also in your work at the international level. And that is really why IPBES was established, to really be at this interface between science and policy. And so we are really confident that you will put to good use the 2 new reports that this plenary is going to consider. It just started really a few minutes ago. So your words, your presence here today on our first day give us the energy, the courage to succeed. And we will be very happy. I will be very happy to come and visit you again when this is over, to present this work to you once it has been approved. So many, many thanks again. We look forward to the reception, to the music. Thank you also for that, for having kindly organized that for us also. So many thanks, and I wish everyone a good evening.
Thank you very much, Anne, and distinguished delegates. With this, we conclude this opening segment of IPBES 9, and now I want to invite you to follow the invitation made by the Minister Lemke and by the Deputy Mayor Sauter for the reception that is going to be just outside in the plenary hall. But please do not forget that tomorrow morning, the working groups will start at 10 a.m. sharp. Working group 1 here in this hall, and the working group 2 in the hall Genf. I wish you all a pleasant evening. Enjoy. Say cheers. Be happy, because we have a very, very long discussions after this week, and today is going to be maybe the last day that you can enjoy peacefully. So thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.